We're not that far from you. Why don't we already?
Hello. Are we live now? Okay. Hi, everybody. And it's fun because I got to do the intro, so we can help this be very organic. And we're having a conversation. We're relaxing. You guys have some water. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm talking to my guests, but I'm Shonda Brooks, and this is the first episode of The Future is Female Radio. I'm so excited to be live today and to share these wonderful women in our community that do all this great work that I want to share with you. Today's episode is called Women Who Resist and Women in Activism. And I really try to find those strong women, those firebrands, those women that just constantly, I know, that are out there fighting every day. So I want to first introduce one of our guests. Hi, Samina. We have another guest coming. Come on in. Come on in. Come join us. Your seat is right here. Can you come right through this way? Okay. Oh, is that for me? Yes. Oh my God, thank you. Look, everybody, I got a gift. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. All righty. Well, this is wonderful. Can you guys take some pictures of these beautiful women? But you want to put your purse over here? Okay. All right, everybody. First, I want to go through introductions. Ladies, you have a microphone and you can just pass it along. I have questions that I'm going to ask you specifically to the work that you do in the community and how you got started, why you got started, your passion, and then just some ideas to women across the country on how they can get active in their community and what they can do. Okay? But I have specific questions. It's going to be real easy. We're just having a conversation like we're at a coffee shop. Right? Okay? All right, great. So first we have Yvonne Maxwell. She is just a civil rights activist in our community. She is the executive director for UJIMA Family and Children's Services, and just a excellent mentor and great leader within our African American community. Thank you for being here. Can you share with us what you do and how you got started in this work?
UJIMA Adult and Family Services is an African-centered outpatient mental health clinic as well as a community support services. The services that we do are African-centered, so we really focus on creating interventions that are culturally centered, and the way that we see problems and solutions are all from that cultural center. We're also from a Pan-African perspective, so it's really about bringing all African people, whether you've lived here for multiple generations or came yesterday, that we are all one people and we work together to solve those problems.
Great. Can you just tell me just a little bit about how you got started in activism and what was that one time where you said, I gotta do something? Like I have to do something about this because maybe nobody was and you had to step up? Or was there one moment where you said, I got to do something?
I can't think of really one moment. I've always kind of felt like social justice was, I felt like how I was born and so much a part of who I am. I think that one moment was when somebody shared with me when I was 14 the field of social work. Mm-hmm. And that I thought, okay, this is who I am. And from that moment, I was really driven to do that social justice work, and that was the perfect profession for me.
Great. Thank you. Ruth Silvertop, can you just tell us about yourself, where you work, what you do every day, and why you got started in this work?
Yes, I work at the Catherine and George Alexander Community Law Center, which is a law center on the Alameda, and I supervise a workers' rights clinic, and we assist low-income, mainly immigrant clients with employment issues. I also work on labor trafficking. I'm legal services chair of the South Bay Coalition to End Human Trafficking, and I also work on issues of wage theft. I coordinate a wage theft coalition, and I'm also part of the Bay Area Equal Pay Collaborative.
So what made you start doing this work, Ruth?
Well, my parents were very committed to social justice, and from the time I was very small, they would take me to protests and they would talk to me about social justice issues. So I just felt that this was something I really wanted to do. I've always been speaking up against injustice. I taught in Sierra Leone. I'm from Canada, and we had a program, and I taught over there. And I also have been involved in most of the social movements that have been going on. I worked for a union. I actually was a machinist at one point, and first woman president of the machinists local.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And
Okay.
yeah, in San Jose,
Wow.
Laughlin.
That's not even bio, is it? I didn't see it.
Oh, I think you put the first woman president. No, I did not say
You gotta add that
yes
to your
yeah,
long
I
bio.
was. Right, I do have a long
You
bio.
should put it in because then you might have first president.
Yes, give us a good vibe.
Our clinic also partners with the Vietnamese American Bar and the Filipino Bar, and we hold workshops and clinics out in the community as well. And that's always something that I've done. I've always tried to work with people who are my parents were immigrants, and they had a lot of their family killed because of, some stupid reason. And so I felt as if it shouldn't happen to anybody else. And that's what my father and mother always said to me, that every generation there's going to be a new group of people, and that you have to make sure it never happens to other people.
Okay, great, thank you. And next we have Samina Sundas. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
Yes, and actually I've known Samina for a long time. Me and her were in a program 15 plus years ago. It was Communities of Color, nonprofit program, leadership program for communities of color. And it was, I wanted to say like 20 years ago, but I think it's probably more like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's where we
14,
first,
15.
that's where we first met each other.
Yes.
And you've done some great things since then. Can you tell us about what organization you work with right now, when you started, and what you're doing in the community?
So I started American Muslim Voice Foundation
Can you hold up just a little bit higher?
post
There we go.
9/11, and I have been humanitarian for a long time before I even knew the meaning of the word. When I was 6 years old, I am originally from Pakistan, so that's the first time I heard that there was a flood in East Pakistan. What is Bangladesh now used to be East Pakistan. I'm sure floods have been happening before, but that year my dad brought us a transistor radio, and as a family we would sit down and listen to the news. And after I heard that they need blankets and food and all that, I asked my mom, we should do something about it. My mom had 7 kids. She said, I'm too busy to do anything. Why don't you ask your teacher at school? I went to ask my teacher. She asked me, are you a Girl Scout? I said, yes. And she said, ask your leader there. So I went to my leader. She said, okay, let's go to the principal's office. And that scared me. I said, no, I don't want to do anything. Because, going to principal's office,
Yeah, that's her
like
trouble.
you're in trouble. She said, no, this is for the good thing. So, but everybody was so scared of her principal. She was loud, very good, but loud. When I went there, I was terrified. And she asked me, listen to the troop leader. And then she asked me to look up and down. She said, whose idea is that? I said, mine. And she goes, you came up with this? I said, yes. So then she said, okay. She got up, called the Red Cross in Lahore, and she asked them, can you use schoolgirls for, helping bring the things or packaging or whatever you need? They said, yes, of course, but please make sure everybody is older than 12. So my principal says, okay, all but one. And she said, why one? She said, because the idea came from the 6 years old, I cannot leave her here.
Yeah.
And, take other people.
Right.
So we went to Lahore Red Cross. They were packaging and just, closing the boxes. But I was too little to do anything. So I remember that director looked at me and then she put a stool there. And she said, what I want you to do is supervise everybody. So she made me a supervisor at the age of 6.
6 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then, I stayed in touch, but I love the way you said that you were born with it.
Yeah.
I think before I knew that, God made me to do this work, and then He blessed me with the parents that I had. They nurtured that.
Mm-hmm.
But, God is mysterious. He knows everything before we do.
Mm-hmm.
He knew I was going to come to America, so my parents gave me one nugget of wisdom, which I will share with everybody. We get burned out when you do this kind of work. It's just, not rewarded in the world as much as should be or appreciated.
Right.
So somebody asked me the other day, why is that you don't get burned out? You have such a lofty dream that you're going to create Martin Luther King's beloved community and peace. So I said, I don't know, let me think about it. And then I went back and thought about that. And I said, my parents raised me with the idea saying, never focus on the end result. Do everything you can that day and then enjoy every step on that path. And they told me a lot of the time, when you have a path that is the right path, you might end up walking on that for a long time until people will join.
Wow.
So that nugget saved me.
Mm-hmm.
So after 9/11, then I had my family came here, left my ex-husband. So all this was steps towards doing what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So after 9/11, everything went haywire for Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And the quiet community that was just, in the background, just came to surface, but not in a positive way. It's just like, this 4 million people in America got labeled as terrorists. And my personal experience was horrible. I went to Costco that day. I had a home preschool, so I raised my 2 kids doing that job. And I had, 2 teachers, and we ran out of something. So I said, okay, I'll just run to Costco and get something and be back. When I entered Costco, you know how they have monitors and all that? So there were so many people standing there and being curious. I said, what is going on? I went there and looked at it. When I saw all these, buildings falling and smoke and chaos and people dying and listening to the news, I didn't even realize I was crying. So in the group, one person steps forward and asked me, why are you crying? I looked around to see if there was anybody who's going to say, hey, leave her alone or something, some sort of support. Nothing. That person got more in my face and he shouted louder. I asked you, why are you crying? I said, sir, because I still have not figured out how not to care about human beings. And I walked away. I so proudly became an American after I left my ex-husband. And I have made America a better place ever since I came, because even before I started the organization, I volunteered in every place you could imagine. I cleaned the highways. I volunteered in my kids' school. I just volunteered at Stanford Emergency Room. So, but all of a sudden, one tragedy and I'm pushed, I became the other. So that was very painful. And I stayed with the organization. I was already volunteering with American Muslim Alliance, where we were empowering Muslims to become full citizens by running for office. So to tell you that Muslims in 2000 ran for public offices from school board all the way to Congress, over 700 people.
Wow. Across the country? Across the country?
Yes. And in 2002, there were less than 100. So you could see
the
the
change.
impact.
Yeah, right.
But when I wanted to start the American Muslim Voice 2 years later, I saw nothing is changing. The hate is growing and all that.
Right.
My community, Muslim community, was saying, you're a single mom, stay down, stay quiet, this shall pass. But luckily, I had friends in every community you would imagine. So they told me, Samina, it's not going to go away. It's not going to pass. You have to stand up and start pushing. Now, I'm not a pusher, so I had to figure out what can I do that will make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started American Muslim Voice Foundation in July 2003. So I could get even with my fellow Americans by feeding them, by loving them, by opening my heart, my home, my mind, everything, and let them in. And that's what I've been doing since.
Wow, and your organization kind of bridges other communities,
Yes.
right? It's more education to other communities to share Muslims within the community and what you guys are doing.
So what we do is we provide Muslim experience to our fellow Americans and ask them to please do not listen to the media. Do not listen to at that time, Bush administration. Don't listen to them. If you do need to ask a question about Islam or Muslims, ask us, because we've been Muslims all of our life.
Right.
So you don't go to the wrong source, come to us.
That's right.
And then I started opening my home for just because, come have lunch with me, dinner with me, brunch with me.
Right.
The whole idea was that I wanted them to see, feel, touch who we are. And I know that when you sit down, have an eye contact, and then after that share a meal, magical happens. Magical.
You become friends.
You become friends.
And
And that's why our motto of our organization is from fear to friendship.
Nice.
So
Beautiful.
that's what we have been doing.
Thank you, Samina. Thank you. So next question, we pass the microphone back to Yvonne. And just so our guests know, because I'm sure some people are like, how come we can't see her? How come we can't see Yvonne? Just out of respect, she doesn't want to be on camera. So I know I'll get some feedback later from people and say, you don't even have your camera right. I do have my camera right, okay? It's set. But out of respect for Miss Maxwell, we're keeping it this way. Okay, Yvonne, can you tell me or give some advice? Because the whole reason why I started the show was because I wanted, we had a women's march, right, in January, and I seen millions of women across the country wanted to get active. They wanted to do something. And then I went to the Democratic Activists for Women Now event, and there was 300 women there, and there was women that said, I had never got off my fat butt. One lady said, she's like, I have never got off my fat butt and did anything. She's on until the Women's March. And now I want to do something. I just don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to start. So what would you tell women across the country that want to make change within their own, well, they want to change the world, right? They have this big vision of changing the world, but let's be realistic. What can they do within their own community to do something like now? Like, what advice would you give a woman that came to you and said, how can I get active and get involved within my community? What should I do?
Well, I think that there's so much work to do that the first place I would think to start is to talk to them about what they're passionate about. And I think sometimes in this work, I see injustice almost everywhere, right? And so that's why I say there's so much work to do. So find something that you're passionate about and that you really care about. I think that question about burnout is there, and this work can be very, very challenging, and it's often difficult to see where any movement happening. And I've had those experiences a lot of times, just sitting at my desk going, oh my God, we're just like starting from square one again. Yeah. But it's the passion for what you do, I think, that really will carry you. So find something you're really interested in, and then start to learn about it. Connect with people who are doing the work, but also connect with people who are experiencing that injustice. And if you're a part of that community, all the better. If you're not a part of that community, learn from. As a teacher of social work, I say my best teachers are my clients. Right. So they'll really help to really understand what they're experiencing and really helping come up with more effective responses. And when you learn from the people who are actually there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Ruth, can you answer the same question? Like, what would you tell a woman that wanted to get active today?
I think in the times we're living in now, there's many opportunities. I think there always were, but I have seen people motivated that I've never seen before, because we all see, the same groups of people that are out there. We call on them.
Right.
They come for us when we need legislation passed, when we want to do a direct action. They're there. And then I see now all these new faces. You're wondering sometimes why this particular thing motivated them when a lot of things were happening all along, but I'll take it, I'm glad they're here now.
Yeah.
And I think, so don't feel like if this is your first time it matters,
Right.
we need you. And especially now when there's so many people, Muslims, Mexicans, African Americans, and those people with privilege, they have to be out front. Citizens have to be out front. We can't let DACA, we can't let people who have even a green card now, we can't let them, because right now it's reaching down. So there's ACLU People Power, and what it's trying to do is I'm trying to do everything I possibly
Yes, you are.
can,
You do everything.
because I figure life is short, and we have to say, because people will be asking us in the future, what did you do when this happened, when we were at this period in history with fascism creeping up on us?
Right.
What did you do? So there's the hosting of the People Power, and there's lots. If you're interested, you can just go on peoplepower.org and they will connect you. And we have one at the Law Center, there's ones all over. They have 9-point programs they want to get, because it's okay to say, but it's not okay for the police to just say, we won't cooperate. We need them to specifically state, because these are what ACLU lawyers said, these specific points are ones that will prevent this deportation machine from happening. So that's one thing that's going on. These clinics in the community, if you have any language skills, we could really, really use help reaching out. We're also going to be, which is really sad and makes me want to cry, but we're doing guardianships in case people are deported.
Can you explain that to some people that might not know what that means or what's going on with that? I don't think everybody understands why you guys are doing these.
Well, if people are
trainings.
deported suddenly, their children will be left alone. And so in advance, they're going to, lawyers and community members with lawyers checking the work are going to be preparing papers so that they won't file them right now, because no one wants to give up their rights.
But they have them ready.
But they have them ready so that there'll be someone who can take over, and and we've had people who have said that they haven't been sleeping at night because these are their fears. So also, I agree completely, find your passion, and if you can't find a job that is your passion, then you can volunteer. And there's lots of opportunities. I mean, human trafficking, we have a human trafficking coalition. It meets once a month, and there's victim services and legal services, and there's lots of trainings at the San Jose State. I'm helping to organize a program, a conference there. We had another one at Mexican Heritage. The thing that incensed me at our clinic was that workers would come in and they would have judgments. They were owed money, and the court said they were owed money, and employers didn't pay, and they ended up living in their cars, being evicted. And I did a Public Records Act request, and there were 1,073 of those in the San Jose office alone.
Wow.
And there's 16 offices in San Jose, and they recorded these judgments in court. And I researched it and found out that in Houston, Chicago, Miami, Dade, and San Francisco, they have got the counties and the cities to enact laws that say they will not do business, because whatever model is being used now, this is the business model to cheat people. And to really, it's unfair competition, but it's also hurting workers, their families. They're having to go on assistance So we are going to the counties. We were successful partially at Santa Clara County, completely at the city. We're not only they will not contract, but they won't, there's a certain class of permits that they won't issue, and we're now at Milpitas, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara. So if that's something you're interested in, there's a my expertise is more around workers' issues and labor trafficking and equal pay. And there's an equal pay collaborative too. But there's renters' rights, if that happens to be your passion. It's very robust, and they're working around homelessness, around the flood. So there's a lot of issues, a lot of ways you could get involved. And you can go out to community. There's always community events. There's trainings, and people are very anxious to have you involved. They'll embrace you and want you there. There's also a rapid response that has developed, and there's some trainings. Pangea Legal Service has organized those, and the one that I went to the one in East Palo Alto because I couldn't go to the one in San Jose, and there's like hundreds of people that are out there.
And the rapid response is to respond to ICE raids.
Yes, and to help families too. You can plug in wherever you want if you just want to give comfort to the families. If you want to be there at the time,
or if you're a lawyer, right?
Or
you can come out.
You don't have to be a lawyer.
But that's
there's
options, different roles that these teams will play.
Sure. There's a legal component, but there's also just because you might have read that at one place 200 people showed up and they weren't doing what they were doing. Plus, you can see what they're doing, and if they violate certain rights, then there's certain motions you can file, things like that. So to show that the community supports the people, whether they're Muslims or people from Mexico or whoever, or anyone who it's a pretty broad net. I mean, lots of people get caught up and because people who are ignorant don't differentiate. They don't differentiate. So it's really important to speak up now and we will embrace you.
Right. I think that's what I've heard a lot from women, or just from anybody that's trying to get active right now. They're like, well, I don't even start, and I feel like an outsider. And I felt a certain type of way on the Women's March. I'm not gonna lie. I, was a little angry in a way that all these women came out, and to me, I'm like, how come they didn't come out for any immigrant issues? How come they didn't come out for Black Lives Matter? Why are they all out today? And are they going to continue to come out after today? So I said, well, let me do my part to give them a call to action. I'm teaching you guys. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting the education out there. So there's no excuse, right? There's no excuse. You can't just come out for a day. So, but now I'm kind of step back and have the attitude like you, Ruth, is like, we'll embrace you. But I felt a certain type of way when it happened. I was a little resentful because, a lot of us do this work every day, and this is our life. And then, just coming out for one day is not enough. We need those numbers to come out when we all need them, right? When we have issues, it's only you see the same people. It's always the same people. It's always, so we need you guys. Please help us. So Samina, can you just tell, what advice would you give a woman ready to get active?
Sure, but can I touch upon what you're talking about guardianship? I don't know if you guys remember, after 9/11, there was INS special registration where 25 countries was chosen to register their men from the age of 16 till the day they die. They were supposed to register with INS special registration. At that time, men were just disappearing, and their wives and kids were left. And it was scary. And then, I was helping at that time, started a hotline to answer communities' questions and all that. And one thing I came up at that time was adopt a family. I was asking these people to just, even if it doesn't happen, any Pakistani that does not have, Muslims from these countries, does not have green card or citizenship, just you choose a family that you trust completely. Give them your telephone numbers here, give them your telephone numbers back home, so that they can just, connect with other people. If something happens, who should they call? You know, like your children are left here, your wife is left here, who has never gone out for a job, and she's a homemaker. So it was really scary.
Like
And
in Canada where they're adopting the Syrian families for a year.
exactly. So then, you know, even now, I think it's adopt a family is such a catchy phrase. I will let you borrow it, use it, whatever, because we need to work together.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, you choose a family that, you know, then we will pay your mortgage. They will just make arrangements to do whatever we have to do, fundraising or whatever. So you will survive that time. So that's one thing. And, you know, I don't like giving advice because I don't think I'm a very wise person. But the thing is, I will share the reason I chose the mission of this organization.
Okay.
It's very grassroots work.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair to other people, I think these movements have happened and survived and have been effective. Like civil rights movement during Martin Luther King Jr.'s. You know, people came, hordes and hordes of other people, that's why it happened. But I think we have a pattern where people just sleep for maybe decades, then they wake up. Then they just, you know, so maybe Women's March was one of those things.
Right.
That they just all woke up like, hey, what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think part of the reason we have to thank our 45 number for insulting women so much that he
I could do
Right.
without that.
seriously,
That
it's
one
just,
guy.
you know,
Yeah.
that guy,
Yeah.
it's number 4, right? Yeah, he just, you know, connected people together, and even different races now.
Mm-hmm.
He has forced people to come out
Yeah.
and be together. So my humble request to women is, you are connector, you are healer.
Mm-hmm.
Take that job seriously. Start with know your neighbors. You don't have to just necessarily know your Muslim neighbors. We have a campaign where you know your neighbors. Don't wait for a disaster to knock
Right.
at the next door neighbor and find out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think even if we connect just in our neighborhood, we could have a movement that would just be so powerful. When you need it, all you need to do is alert one, you know, start phone trees, start texting, start whatever in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the power. If women would take care of that, they will be just, you know, teaching their next generation how to be active.
Yes.
So it's just not just, you know, that's what they say. If you educate a man, he would help himself. If you educate a woman, you are actually educating the next generation.
Right.
So these are the kind of things that are very powerful. I want women to see their power.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In Quran, you know, our prophet Hadith is, one man came to the prophet and said, who deserves my love, my support? He said, your mom. Then he asked again. He said, your mom. Then he asked again. He said, your mom. Then he asked the fourth time. He said, your father. So, mother 3 times. Why? Because what mothers do, even the best of fathers cannot even imagine doing for a child.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, and then he said, what if I don't have a mom? If she has a sister, give that respect to her. What if she doesn't have a sister? Her best friend, give that respect. So people, when they say, oh, Quran treats women badly. No, it's not Quran. It's men who treat women badly. Doesn't matter which religion they are, which race, which economic, you know, condition they are. That's what happens when a man is insecure. That's when they attack women.
Right. Right.
So if a man is successful, powerful, confident, he would never hurt a woman.
Right.
So women, please find how much power you have,
Mm-hmm.
use it. Because women would never abuse power.
Right.
Mostly, I should say.
Mostly, yeah.
You know?
Most women.
Yeah, most
Most
women.
women, yeah.
Most women, yeah.
Like us.
So,
yeah.
No, but many other women who would never think
Yeah.
about that.
Right.
And I have told men, you know, you have destroyed this world enough. Please leave it to women now. Let us heal. Let us move it forward and repair it and heal it for our next generations.
Right.
And that's what our job is. Pay attention to that job and then come up.
Yes. Thank you,
Ashe.
Shamina. Thank you.
Right.
That was good. And we'll go back to Yvonne. And I think that that's another reason why I started this, is because I think when we lead, I mean, we lead with compassion, right? And we don't have ego, and we're more collaborative.
Yeah.
We just kind of are just thinking about everybody.
Mhm.
It's just we're not just leading with what's right for me,
Yeah.
and for the men behind me.
Mhm.
So I think that's another reason why I did this, is to motivate other women to run for politics, women to be empowered, women to take leadership roles, because I think that things turn out a little bit better when we're leading. Right.
They will.
Sorry to the men watching. We appreciate you. We love you. We really do. But this is truly how I feel about women in leadership. So,
But
Yvonne,
if they are watching, that means they are very supportive of
No,
you,
exactly.
So they won't mind.
no, they wouldn't. I would just make a disclaimer in case some of them weren't.
Yes.
I don't know, everybody who's watching today. But Yvonne, can you just tell me what keeps you going? What motivates you to do this every day?
For me, I think it's the work. I enjoy it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I am just appreciate hearing people's stories and their journeys, and I learn so much from them. And even though they were extremely difficult or tragic, even, I'm just honored with people sharing their stories. It helps me to help other people. So I think that, and I'm gonna, I don't remember the quote, the person who did the quote, but I think when it's something about a master of life, there's no distinction between their work and their play. And for anybody watching them, it looks the same or they can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when you're doing something that you love and enjoy and being around people and working with people to make things better, it's just a part of your everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And learning more about it, even the challenges or the horrible things that are happening. It's like, okay, who can I get together to work on this? Or who can we talk about this? Or how can I understand this better? Or how can we, come up with better ways of solving and connecting
Right.
each other? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that, it doesn't turn off, I'm sure all of us have, when you go to a movie or you see a TV show and you're analyzing it from a social justice perspective,
Yes.
and your friends and family are like, it's just a movie.
I know, right?
No, it's just a movie. It's not.
I know.
Media has a powerful influence on how we see the world and
That's
each
so
other,
true.
right?
Yes.
And so it doesn't ever stop.
Never stop.
And so I think that that's what I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it's not. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about. That you're just born with it,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Mhm.
And that's how I feel. Like I was just born to do this.
Yeah.
Even as a teenager, I felt I had to do something. I had to help. I didn't know I was going to become a teen
Mhm.
mom. And then, I became a teen mom, and then it clicked. I needed help teen moms and people make sure young people didn't become a teen mom.
Why is everybody making this so difficult for me?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Why does it even have to be a struggle?
Right. Yeah.
Why is this so much opposition
Mm-hmm.
to life?
So I'm going to expand the other. I'm going to combine two questions so we can speed up. But I wanted to hear about the Roots Clinic at
Okay.
Ujima, because I know it's a new thing,
Yes.
right? And I see all the billboards around San Jose. Can you tell us how it got started and why? And then what do you guys do with the Roots Clinic?
Okay. Let's see. It's short version.
Yeah, the short version.
So just in our work in the community, part of the Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet, we were looking at areas or things that we want more information about. So we kind of set out to say, let's do a health study of African people in Santa Clara County. And it'd be part of a series of, we're working now on beginning the education study. What does education look like? So we can understand where the needs are for education and social justice. We're going to look at employment and business also. So we started with the health study in partnership with Public Health Department, who provided their epidemiologist and some support in doing the study. And in 2013-14, we did the study that included, of course, gathering all the statistics, but also doing focus groups. And then from that study was completed. The Board of Supervisors approved it. We had some strategic plans, because that was the other thing is let's not just do another study that sits on a shelf, but let's really put some things into action. So the clinic is one of the big plans that we had that came out of the study, and it was from hearing from African people. I mean, historically, our relationship with healthcare and health has not been positive. There's a lot of mistrust. People know about Tuskegee, right? But there's been others. Experiments on prisoners, a lot of African people in prisons, and they use prison population to do a lot of medical experiments. And that just lack of mistrust. And that's what we're hearing. So even, people who are an African immigrant gentleman had gone to with his son to get medical care, and the doctor didn't even want to touch him here in Santa Clara County in the last year or two.
In the last year?
Yeah. And so the family was saying, get me out of here. Why am I going to see a doctor who is afraid to or uncomfortable touching me? Doctors, pediatricians making child abuse reports on things that are not appropriate to do that, which is the way that they look at African people, that eye that they do, and with suspicion and really not gathering more information. Misdiagnosis, etc. So thing was to come up, we needed our own clinic. So Roots Clinic is in Oakland. They also have a clinic in Southern California. And so they're doing amazing work in those areas. So we worked with having them come to Santa Clara County. So kind of the way we see health and whole health, which includes workforce development. They do really great work with bringing our brothers in who tend not to come in for treatment, and using workforce development as a way of bringing them in to help. So we should there's a lot of construction going on. It's almost finished, so it should be opening very
it's
soon.
not open yet. Okay.
No, not open yet.
Is there a date?
The date keeps moving. Permits, construction, and all of that, but it's pretty much finished.
Okay.
So should be opening. I haven't heard the latest, but I think within the next month.
And who's going to qualify for that? Like, who can come to the clinic?
The clinic is open to anybody.
Okay.
So it's
Is it
African doctors, African
sliding scale, or
I believe so.
Okay.
So
Medi-Cal or
Medi-Cal definitely.
Okay.
And they've also got other insurance options.
Okay. Good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
That's great.
Great.
Ruth, so tell me what keeps you going every day, because you are like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, right? And Energizer Bunny, you're like teaching a class on something every night. Because, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But, other things that you're just involved in. Yeah, workshops or, meetings, coalitions, collaboratives, the list could go on. What keeps you going?
Well, I find that it energizes me. I feel empowered, and it's the people that I work with that make me feel that it's worthwhile to continue. My view is that we're here to try to make this place a little better than we left it. Otherwise, what's the point? It's so short and it's over, and we've got to try to make it a little better. And I've met people from different communities that I learn from every single day, and who inspire me. And I don't know if I do, but I remember when I was in the machine shop and I was the only woman, and other women I was labor grade 9 because I had to file a lawsuit because I was on the same machine as a man who was doing the same work as me, and I was like 3 labor grades lower, and I didn't get less for the same job. But the other
happens.
girl, yes, it is. It still happens.
That's abuse.
Yes, it is, and it's wage theft too, because they're stealing. I'm like making the part. He comes and does the same work. He should be making the same. And they had women welders, labor grade 2 assemblers. The men were 7s, and so. And then I did work at the EOC because of my experience, because they had helped with that. But I found that other women that were like labor grade 2, they were like this little woman can do this work and make way more money.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I can too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think women see, because my parents, you know, they were immigrants, they didn't do a lot, and it was only when I met other lawyers, like through the union, that I thought, gee, I can do that, you
Yeah.
know. So I think it's really, and I know when I work with people in the Vietnamese American community, Filipino, that went to school, and then someone came to their class who was like them, and they thought, gee, you know, that's something that maybe I can do, and I feel like that for women too, that and I also, I moderated a panel for women in tech and trades, because I think that we need to know what options there are, and you need to know that this is a good thing for us to do. We shouldn't be pigeonholed into certain jobs.
Right.
So yeah, I do find it empowering, energizing. I can't think of anything I would ever want to do. I kept doing different things in life. You know, I was in graduate school, I was in Sierra Leone, I taught community college, and my parents were like going nuts. What are you going to do?
Pick something.
But everything comes together
Yes.
now, because when
It's
I
all
do this
for a reason.
workers'
Yeah.
rights, I worked in, I can talk, I know, because I was there.
Right.
You know, when I meet people from different cultures, you know, I was over there
You
and
can
taught
relate,
it.
right?
Yes, exactly. And so, and I've been in different workplaces, and and I've seen things,
Right.
you know, like the labor trafficking and so it really all comes together. And some of it is paid, but a lot of it is volunteer, but that doesn't matter,
Right.
because when you see the look on someone's face, when you've been able to make a difference,
Yes.
it just makes it all worthwhile.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Ruth.
Sure.
So the reason I founded this organization, one is the work is inspired by a verse of Quran, 49.13 from Surah Hujurat, where God says, "O mankind, we created you from a single pair and divided you into tribes and nations, so you may get to know each other, not that you despise each other." Now that verse is, you could just take it literally, or you could go deep. God could have all made us white if he wanted to. He could have given us numbers, right? Whatever different, you know, spots and all that. But he created us this way to keep interest, and then, you know, so we go seek as human. So that is number one thing that keeps me just, you know, going. Number two, the path that I taken and the advice I had from my parents, that, you know, enjoy the path and every step you take. Now, I have been doing, especially under the organization I founded in 2003, almost 14 years. And there is not a single day I have felt bored or, you know, burned out, because every path, every step that I take takes me to an amazing person that I learn and then embrace and then get to know and then becomes my friend. So I am so blessed to have such diverse friends that I think that is, I haven't earned a penny in 13 years because I'm crazy and I'm just doing this work. I almost lost my house. But the thing is, this is like, you get hooked on these things. Forget about the drugs and all that. You know,
This is your drug.
get hooked on doing good.
Right.
And that's something that just uplifts you, and you just meet people like you, Teresa. And now I have known you for a while, you know, but, you know, you. So I see there is no enemy in our world, if how we see it. I have old friends, I have new friends, and I have future friends. So if we all focus just on that, it would be such amazing, powerful thing. So that is something. And the work that we have done, our last event was 19th of March at Muslim Community Association. We had over 700 people came for Hands Around the Mosque. And it was beautiful, and so many people told me that day and wrote me notes and all that. Samina, I was so depressed, but this event just uplifted my spirits, that we can connect even now. And again, that was just a call. So we do events like really bringing people together and sharing our culture. we share our Eid, which is Christmas Eid festival we do in December, so people are in holiday mode, so they could come just enjoy
Mhm.
free food. We just don't charge anybody anything. I don't know how we have been able to do that because I'm not good at fundraising. So, but it just happens. This year we didn't have funds, so I cooked for 300 people with
Wow.
one person's help.
Wow.
So, but again, this is crazy, but that's love,
Yes.
labor of love.
Yes.
You know,
Love is magical.
yeah.
Yes.
And we had peace picnic in September 11th, 15th anniversary. We had over 700 people who walked, and then 600 people who came to eat.
Mhm.
And again, we didn't have funds.
Mhm.
It just happened. Those things are just amazing. And I want to encourage people to please listen to all these
Mhm.
3 different stories,
Mhm.
different fields.
Mhm.
But the labor of love is better than any drug, any just,
Mhm.
drink that you might have. This will connect you to people.
Yes.
And that's worth it.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Samina. Stephanie, I wanted to see if can you just read if you see any questions? Does anybody have any questions that are watching? Or are they just making comments? Can you see?
Yeah, they're just saying congratulations.
Oh, okay. Thank you, everybody. This is my first show, and the next show is going to be with women entrepreneurs, and it's called Lady Boss. So I'm excited to bring these women that started their own businesses and have become successful business owners. We're going to learn their journey, how they got started, and what they're doing right now. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, guys. Thank you, women.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much
you
for
very much.
being on my first show. I wanted this show to be about activism because that's what's true to my heart and what I do. So I appreciate your time, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Take care.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. I think you can probably